forgot to record an intro. It was me. Welcome welcome back. I'm doing this little romance reading vlog. Literally, I'm reading, this took a really long time, and so I'm reading what was at one point new release romance when I started doing this. The book that I was reading, I think, came out back in like May. So the first book anyways. And so if you are, for some reason, not like me and you don't want summer to end, read these like newish releases and have a good old time. And if you are just trying to figure out whether or not you should read them, my opinion is in here, and let that move you if you like or not. But anyways, I needed to intro this, so I hope you enjoy the vlog and I hope that it's a good time. Again, this is just me reading new release romance or romance that came out over the summer. So if you want to hang out in the romance summer vibes just a little bit longer, then I am giving you permission to do that. Not that you need my permission. But watch this and have fun. Okay.
Thought that I would be a bit at peace by now. Yeah, you're lying in the shadows of my room. Oh, always heard your voice, I forget the sound now. You're awfully quiet while I cry out for you. Oh, I know you don't have much to say, yeah, that's clear now, but I won't.
Okay, so updates. First update, this is like obviously a reading vlog for some romance novels, and so I've been reading Katherine Center's The Love Haters. I'm on chapter 11. I'm like nearly halfway there. Full disclosure, I have like almost DNF'd this book so many times. There's something about it that just isn't, it's just not doing it for me. And I think it's probably related to the show versus tell phenomenon that, that you might hear writers and stuff talk about when they're like talking shop. And I don't know what it is. It's really, there's something about being told how something is being done that drives me like a little bit nuts versus like being shown on the page how that same thing is being done. And so the thing that I keep encountering is that I do feel like if I could get past it and like sink a little deeper into the actual romance of The Love Haters, that I will enjoy that element. Like I'll enjoy the romance, but getting there has been just really tough. Like I said, I'm not quite halfway through. I'm like nearly halfway through, and I'm just like, it feels hard. It feels hard. And it's not that I don't know, like it's not that I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to enjoy it. Like I'm ready to enjoy it. It's just I'm not enjoying it. So that's my update on The Love Haters. Like I said, I'm on chapter 11. I did kind of DNF it 2 weeks ago nearly, and then I just accidentally returned to it via audio when I was like in my car driving, and like it just turned on. And I don't know, like I'm not absolutely hating it. I am just not having a very good time. And so I guess you can do with that what you will.
Keep on giving you grace while my heart's broken, but you take the time away to clear your head out. But I had so much to say, and you let me get away still. Well, I still cry, I won't lie, but you'll never know if I'm fine. Am I alright?
And then I'm also reading Emily Henry's Great Big BBL. Great BBL. I don't know. I really am enjoying this one. I'm trying to find the page I'm on because I did listen to a tiny bit of it via audio. What page are we on? Okay, I'm on page 299. This book has been a treasure. I do tend to read, let me pick it up. I do tend to read Emily Henry's via audio mostly, but this one hasn't really needed it. Like, I just basically started, actually picked it up and started reading it yesterday, and I'm probably gonna finish it tonight. Wait, what page am I actually on? What chapter is this? Yeah, I'm on page 297. I'm probably gonna finish this tonight. There's only 400 pages. It feels possible. I don't know. I think it's possible. Okay, so here's what's happening in here. My favorite part of this book has been, I've really liked all of it. I don't understand why this book is so polarizing. To me, this book feels very well done. It feels baked to me. It doesn't feel half-baked. Some people have been saying that it is, it's just not one of her best. And I really like it. I really like Alice. I think that she is genuine. I think that she's curious. I think that she, as the story progresses, she starts off maybe just the tiniest bit flat, but I'm not mad at that because it's the beginning of a book, and give her some chance to develop and to deepen, right? And so the more you learn about her backstory, the more you understand who she is, why she is the way she is, how she's adapted, kind of her happy-go-lucky personality that seems like maybe a joke to people who are a bit more serious, people including Hayden. But there is this part that happens in chapter 21 where she asks Hayden whether or not he wants children, because they're just having that chat. It's not romantic yet, they're just talking. And he says that sometimes he wants children, and she's like, okay, what about the other times? And then he goes down this deep, it's not deep, but he goes down this little rabbit hole about why wanting children can be so complicated given, whatever life circumstances that you're dealing with or struggling with, and I don't know. And so there is this little section, let me find it. Where is it? It is in chapter 21, right? Now I kind of am confused, and I think that the edition that I'm reading is weird. Okay, well, that was really long and arduous, but I wanted to read this section. I don't know what chapter it's in because the edition that I'm reading for some reason is different than the edition that I'm listening to, and so I am just gently confused, but that's fine. What I was saying though was that there's this section, which in the book is in chapter 17, where Alice and Hayden are talking about whether or not he wants to have kids, and he says that he sometimes wants to have kids, and then so she's like, okay, what about the rest of the time? And he says, the rest of the time, I think, what if the polar ice caps keep melting? What if medical care keeps getting more expensive and Social Security runs out and housing prices keep rising while minimum wage doesn't? And what if they resent me for bringing them into all of this? What if they just hate me? Not because of the state of the world, but just because they hate me. Or what if they're sick? What if they join a cult and I can't convince them to come home? What if they start a cult? What if they get into some heinous shit and I can't love them anymore? Or worse, I keep loving them even though I can't change anything. What if there's another world war? Or what if everything else goes right, but at the end of my life, they're sitting in hospice with me? His voice thickens uncharacteristically, wavering just the slightest bit. And there are things they wish they could say to me or hear from me, but I don't remember who I am, let alone who they are. What if they have to care for me for years after I've stopped calling them by their nicknames or telling them I love them? And then he talks about how it's, I don't know, there's something about how, like, when he said that, I was just like, this is exactly what it is to be the parent of children. This is exactly what it is to love a child, because, and even this is exactly what it is, like, to think about the potential of loving a child. I remember being 12 years old and telling my mom, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can have babies because, like, this world is, like, so messed up, and it would be selfish just because I want little humans, you know, in the world, to, like, bring people into this when there's gonna be so much pain, like, that they'll experience. Like, I literally was having that conversation with my mom as, like, a little kid. And, you know, the conversation didn't resolve itself. The thought in my head did not resolve itself. It's just something that you figure out, like, how to deal with, or I guess, like, how to deal with moment by moment. And I still think about, like, that stuff. And so there's something about this particular passage that just, like, spoke to my soul. And then, like, in terms of work, like, he talks about how Hayden, he talks about how because of the kind of work he's doing, which is, like, writing a biography, like, telling the story of somebody's life, doing it in the end of their life or closer to the end of their life, it's like he's living a life with them. So by the time that they're gone, like, he's mourning this entire life that he lived alongside them, because he spent lots and lots of time with them, hearing their stories and seeing the world through their eyes and experiencing their pain. And I don't know, it just made me think that art is such a sacrifice. Like, being artful, participating in art can be just, like, this huge sacrifice. But there's, like, a compulsive, I mean, I don't know about for everybody else, but, like, in here, I'm just really relating to Hayden because there's a compulsion to participate in the sacrifice. It doesn't matter how much of a sacrifice it is, like, you're gonna do it because the compulsion is there. I don't think that's the case for everybody. That's just the kind of, like, artist that I am. And so I, like, just resonate with him. And I don't know, I just thought it was so powerful. I thought it was so amazing. And I don't know what else to say. I'm really loving it. And now I'm at the part of the book, several chapters later, where they're visiting Alice's home, and as friends, like, nothing is, like, some things maybe, like, happened a little bit, but, like, nothing's really gone on. Things are still unsaid. There's no relationship here. Things haven't gotten super physical. And I honestly believe, and I don't know, but I believe that because of the whole Murphy bed situation and, like, the state of her sister's room that Hayden's supposed to be staying in, I think he's gonna, like, break the bed or something, and then they're gonna end up sharing a bed. And I think, like, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm ready for the shared bed situation. And so, yeah, so that's my update. I am definitely enjoying Great BBL far more than I am enjoying The Love Haters, and that's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. I still don't know if I'm gonna finish The Love Haters. I want to give it a little bit more time. It's not a long book. Like, I'm pretty sure it's under 300 pages, and so, excuse me, I'm trying to, like, give it its time. But I don't know if it's in the cards for me. The last book I think I'm going to read for this, for this romance vlog is going to be Say You'll Remember Me, and I'm going to start this one as soon as I finish one of the other ones that are currently in progress. And I do feel like this is going to be a winner. And I will say that Great BBL is giving me 5-star vibes for me. And for me, 5-star vibes are completely contingent upon how well written the story is, and I'm finding it very, very well written. I'm also really, really enjoying in Great BBL, Margaret Ives's biography. Like, this faux star, like, not child star, but this faux, like, celebrity is so interesting to me. Her family history is so interesting to me, and I just want to know more about her. I like it gives this book the feeling of both a contemporary novel and like a little bit of a historical novel as well. Like it feels like it's combining the both of them, and I think that this is a really successful thing for Emily Henry. Like I feel like every time I read one of her books, like it's better. And I'm feeling like this is a good one. I still don't understand why people are so upset. I don't understand how it's like so polarizing. This is exactly what I've been needing in the midst of like, you know, looking for new work and just trying to figure out what the heck life looks like now. Like this is what I needed. I needed to believe in art again and writing. I needed to believe in writing that isn't so AI focused, which is kind of part of the reason why I no longer am in my role, because my, you know, former company believes that AI is it's like a better resource for writing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well then why do you have me like reread and edit the things out? I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'm not going to be hateful and whatever about it, even though I am in my feelings, because geez. But this is exactly what I needed. All right, so that's my little update for now. And I'm going to, what am I going to do? You'll probably, if I'm really, really excited and keep reading and like accidentally finish one of these, I'll come back tonight. And if not, we'll probably go somewhere and read tomorrow and just have like a different little environment and mix things up a little bit. So, all right. Yeah, that's it for now. Hello. Okay. I don't know how much of I don't know how much, I don't remember what I last said in my last update. And so I'm just going to give a quick one right now. I did continue to give, oh, you know what happened is I recorded some updates and then thought that I moved them over into this project on the app that I use to do my little edits. And then I permanently deleted them. And this is why people just get a camera. Like just be a person who gets a camera. Don't just like be out here struggling. But this is officially a DNF. I got decently far. I think I got to like chapter 11 or something. And I started listening to it on the audiobook because I was just having a horrible time reading it. And I still couldn't get into it. And I imagine that if I had gotten further into the romance already, I'd be invested enough to continue, because like, I don't know, I feel like even if a book isn't good, once you can get access to the romance, it like things change, things get better, and that happens rather quickly. But it's just not happening. I hate reading it. And even though this is a romance reading vlog, I am not a person, I told myself like when I started this that I wasn't going to be the person who like just read stuff because I had said I'm going to read this for the thing. Like I'm not going to do that. I just value my time a little bit too much like in this moment, and because this is not like it, that could change later if I were getting paid to do things like this, or if I were doing all, you know, doing editing. And obviously when you're editing, you're not reading people's best stuff like right in the moment all the time, right? Because that's why it requires editing. But I don't know, I'm just I don't know, I'm disappointed. I really wanted to love it. I'm not saying I'll never pick it back up. I'm going to keep the book because it's dedicated. No, it's signed to me. And so I'm not going to get rid of it, but I am definitely at the very least soft DNFing it. And so I'm not going to continue with it for this vlog thing, unfortunately. I will say that I do like the little journey of self-discovery stuff that I think her name is Katie is on. I like that. I'm just not invested enough in that journey to like see it to fruition. And I think the other thing that kind of like not bothers me, but it's just like is this what, how do I say it? There's like something that makes me like a little bit about the way that they talk about the clothing that she wears and how there's something about, so like Katie, the main character, she's pretty like she's uncomfortable in her skin, and that's okay. But the thing that I don't necessarily know how to feel about it is the way that they talk about her clothes, or like the way that she's wearing clothes. And like I don't know, like I don't know why I keep saying they. I think that in this particular novel, being, you know, seeing as I haven't read a Katherine Center before, I'm maybe a tiny bit put off by what they're saying is provocative, and what they're saying, what's wrong with me? What I'm a little bit thrown off by what she's saying is provocative in Katie's, you know, clothes. I don't know how to complete that thought. I don't want to be incredibly polarizing or anything like that. I'm just saying that sometimes when the way people talk about clothing and things can start to veer towards like maybe feeling a bit shamey, and I think that maybe that's just something that I'm just, me specifically, I don't like to read about. I don't like to read about people feeling shamed for having a body. And yeah, and so I don't know, there's just something that like throws me off a little bit about how Katherine Center talks about Katie's body and the way that Katie's clothes are fitting because of the body that she has. And yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just not the book for me. That being said, I have picked up and immediately finished Great BBL. I've already talked ad nauseum to my husband about this one. How do I talk about this without being like a fangirl? I don't understand why people are divided on how to feel about this. I think this is Emily Henry's best so far, and I've read everything that she's written. The reason I think it's her best is because you get a literary fiction, romance, historical fiction thing all in the same book, and I think it's all done well. The voice of Margaret Ives is so distinct, like, and I know that you're supposed to be able to make a voice very, very distinct if you're writing about, I mean, if you're writing with different voices, if you should be able to distinguish between characters, and that's fine. But Margaret Ives doesn't just sound like a different character. She sounds like she's from a different time. It's like the story, I feel like it's like the story of what Princess Diana's like memoir would be had she lived longer, you know? The way that they talk about her and the way that they talk of, like, I don't know, it's just I don't know why I keep saying they, but Emily Henry did, like, she did her thing. I feel like I scratched that itch of like wanting to have something that had a tiny bit of a historical lean. This feels like, you know, a period piece in some ways. It feels like obviously it's a romance, but there's also this like literary element that, I don't know, it's just so well written. And to be able to take so many different components and turn it into one novel, like, I don't understand why people are saying this wasn't well done, or that this fell short in some way. This was, I don't even know what else to say about it. It was so good. It was so good. And especially the way that Hayden, and there's something about the way that Hayden like cares, but he cares quietly, like he cares gently, and not in a way like where he's abandoning anybody, but he he wants people to have their agency, and Alice also wants people to have their agency, and so together they're just kind of, you know, like instead of getting in each other's way, they're like getting out of each other's way too much almost, and that they're doing each other a disservice by doing that, because each of them wants to be there for each other, but they also don't want to impose. They are incredibly self-conscious in a lot of ways about their presence and their own individual presence, and I find that just really sad, but also like very, very specifically understandable in a lot of ways. And I don't know, I just feel like I feel like it was a masterpiece. Like, it was an easy 5 stars for me. I think that the vibes were great. It was addicting. Like, I read this in 2 days and I was reading other things at the same time. And so I don't know what else to say. It was a masterpiece. I want to read it again, and I can't because I don't have like that time right this second. And there are other things that I'm also really, really excited to read, but this was so beautiful to experience. And for all of those who say that Emily Henry, you need to stop releasing so many books, like, definitely take your time. Obviously take your time, but I don't think that this didn't feel rushed to me. This felt right on time. Okay, so now this is the next one I'm going to pick up for this little video, and I will get back to you when I have an update.
If I'm fine, am I alright? Well, you'll never know. You'll never know. You took this path on your own time without giving us a try. So we'll never know. We'll never know. You came into my life at the right point, and now you're leaving when it gets hard. Should've kept it straight from the jump. Why'd we come this far to get this?
Okay, so I was really concerned when I started this that I was going to not like it, because the first POV you get is Xavier's, and like, it was annoying. Like, I found it really annoying to listen to his perspective, and then after getting Samantha's perspective and then going back to his perspective and like having his friend sort of color in how he is and like why he is, like, I feel like people who are grumpy like that need other characters or context to provide, well, other characters to provide context, but also to like what's the word, to, I guess, qualify why he is the way he is. And you kind of need to see some people put up with that in order to like be okay having no stakes in this at all as a reader and putting up with that. And so anyway, now I'm starting to like it a little bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on. So I will give you an update on this guy when I get a little further in, or when I finish it, because I've been kind of binging these romance vlogs, books. So that's what I got. So I'm still reading Say You'll Remember Me, and I'm taking the tiniest break because I'm starting to like the story more now that I'm learning about like Samantha and what's going on in her life, and something about what's happening in her life, especially as it relates to just without spoiling, degenerative disease, is making me want to read Elena Knows, which I had started like I want to say in the spring when I was still at the last Airbnb I was at, and I'm like, do I want to read Elena Knows and Passing like right after this as just like August reads for me, because I kind of feel like I do, or maybe like Elena Knows in DramaCon. I don't know, but I'm like, I know I started Passing But I'm only like 25 pages in, and I'm really feeling Elena Knows now. Like, this is making me in the mood for it. So, that's random, but that's what's happening, I think. Okay. Hi. It's been 10,000 years since my last update. And I have to be honest, I'm like enjoying it. Like, when I read it, I enjoy it. But I'm kind of bored, and I don't think about it a lot. I don't think about it a lot. Say You'll Remember Me is good when I'm reading it. When I'm not reading it, I'm like, what am I even reading these days? That's how I feel. I've been reading this book for an embarrassing amount of time, and I'm only on page 106. I think I'm gonna start liking it now. I'm hoping, because I'm at around the part where they're focusing less on distance and more on just kind of being in the moment. And so I'm hoping that because they're focusing more on being in the moment, things start to feel a bit more natural and a bit more just like coherent. I feel like in romances there's always this weird vibe where it's like they're so concerned with what happens right before, like that period of like, will they, won't they. Like, I feel like romance writers, romance authors, novelists tend to be concerned with that position. And so then what ends up happening is, for me, it sometimes misses the mark. It's just my opinion. And I also recognize that I don't like reading strictly romance. I prefer to read romance as like a piece of something else. Like, I like other plot points better. So like, I like romantasy or fantasy romance, whatever you want to call it. Like, I like fantasy, like really good fantasy with like a romance subplot, or like multiple romance subplots where the romance isn't the main thing. Or I like literary romance, more along the lines of what I feel like Emily Henry does, or even when I'm reading lit fic and how lit fic deals with romance. I really like how romance is handled with, why am I blanking on this person? Sally Rooney, who I loved so dearly. It was just really funny, I'm blanking on her name. I like how romance is handled in a literary context, or in the context of like a literary fiction. That's because I want to see a journey, and it doesn't matter to me as much if it's so focused on the romance that like plot and like interesting things feel sacrificed for the sake of you know, like it's a romance. And like, I think that I'm just not a huge romance fan in the same way that I was when I was like a teenager, because I'm a bit more critical. But I am gonna finish it because I like it more than The Love Haters by a lot. Like, I think it's gonna be, for me, probably like a 3.5 4-star situation. Like, I think it's gonna be a solid book, just not one that I'll ever pick up again, and not one that I would consider a favorite. So that's my little update. I'll probably wait until either something really interesting that makes me change my mind happens, or until the end. So see you when one of those things occurs. Okay, I'm just so desperate to wrap up this vlog. I finally finished Say You'll Remember Me, and it was not like, I ended up really liking the characters. I liked Sam, Samantha, whatever, and I liked Xavier. I ended up liking Xavier more than I like Sam, but once we got to the parts where we started getting more about his backstory, and we got more about kind of like what was going on with her mom and kind of the complications of her family, everything else started to make a little bit more sense, and I started to enjoy the dynamics of their relationship more, because it felt more realistic to me, I guess, in some ways, given like the situation they were in. It's like, because of the high pressure situations they were each dealing with personally, it made the thing I complained about before about like how quickly they started to like each other, it made that make sense, because they were like in some ways like trauma bonding, in my opinion, because you had, you know, Samantha dealing with what was going on with her mother, and you had kind of what Xavier was dealing with his parents, but also just like how his past intersects with what he does for work and all of that playing a huge role in how he sees things. I don't know what there is to say about like how quickly they started to like each other outside of maybe recognizing a piece of themselves in each other, and maybe that being the conduit for everything else that started and all of that good stuff. And so for me, this was like a 3.5, maybe like a 3.75 to 4 stars. I think I rated it 4 stars, but ultimately it was a good time. Not as enjoyable for me as Great Big Beautiful Life, the love of my life, but still really good. And so I just wanted to wrap this up. So these are the 3 books that I read. I started here with The Love Haters by Katherine Center, went to Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and then finally finished off with Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. And this was like a 6 star for me. This was like a 4 star, and this was like a 2. And so I feel like good for me, very even numbers, had a good time. So glad it's over, especially because this took forever. But yeah, I just wanted to wrap it up. So thanks so much for staying until the end, and I'll see you in the next one.
Won't feel bad tonight.